Hey guys, this is zero point 0.8, day 2. Today we're going to talk about measures of variation. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is range. This is one of the most straightforward ones. Range is the difference between the maximum and the minimum data value. So to find the range, we basically take the highest data value, highest test score, minus the lowest test score, and that's it. So the deal with ranges, remember last time we were talking about, let's say, the advantages of the mean, and we said that one advantage is that it takes into account every single data value. Well, along those lines, a characteristic of the range is that it's very sensitive to extreme values. So, if there's an outlier, right? So remember last time we were talking about that one student who scored an 11. That kind of messes up your range if there is an outlier. So, that's a characteristic of the range. Okay, so take a look here. We have test scores here for a particular chapter of algebra. We need to find the range. Okay, well, let's see. What is the maximum here? It's 97. What is the minimum? The smallest value. It's 70. So I say the range is 97 minus 70, 27. That's all. Okay, now standard deviation. Standard deviation is a measure of how much values in a set differ from the mean. Basically, standard deviation is a measure of the spread of the data values. Okay, how spread out is your data? Okay, so for example, if you have one set of test scores that are, let's say, 79, 80, 80, 81, 83, 84, look at how close to each other and to the average those test scores are. Okay? And now imagine you have another set and the scores are 67, 73, 77, 84, 99, 100. Well, look at this one. Look at how spread out this is, right? So whatever the average is, right, probably somewhere around here, look at how far the data is spread out from that average. Whereas here, whatever the average is, right, like somewhere around 80, all of the scores are very close to that average. So standard deviation is a measure of how spread apart the data points are. Now, it's denoted by this symbol, sigma. Remember last time we talked about sigma? That's the capital Greek letter sigma that makes the S sound, and the lowercase is that funny looking letter sigma. Now I've said this is denoted by sigma because pretty much all over the world, standard deviation has that symbol. When we use our calculators, however, it's going to have the symbol little s. Okay, so in other words, standard deviation is an average deviation of values from the mean that is calculated using this fantastic formula. Now, we're not going to be able to use that formula. We're not going to use that formula to do standard deviation by hand. Normally I would. I'm not this year, but I'm just familiarizing you with it. Okay, so another way to talk about standard deviation is if I have a set of data values, if I pick one at random, right, it basically tells me on average how far away is a specific test score going to be from the average? Okay, that's what standard deviation is. A few things here that I want to highlight. The value of standard deviation is usually positive. The standard deviation is 0 when all of the data values are the same number. If there is a larger standard deviation, it means there is greater amount of rate of variation. I was about to say radiation. So this will have low standard deviation. This will have a higher standard deviation. And so again, this thing with outliers, if you have outliers, it could dramatically affect standard deviation. And the units for standard deviation are the same as the original data value. So if you're talking about like, number of free throws, the standard deviation is this many number of free throws, okay? All right, we're going to use our calculators to find standard deviation. So go ahead and take out your calculators and turn them on, please. You can pause the video while you do that. I have my calculator out right here. All right, so what we're going to do here, let me get a split screen here, is this. We're actually going to go to the home screen, which is here. And what you want to do is you want to pick this spreadsheet. Okay, so one way you can do that is you can go down, and then you see it highlights this icon, and then you can press the right arrow button until you get to the spreadsheet, and you do OK. Another way to do that is you could pick number 1 from here, new document, and it asks you, what do you want? Well, I want a list and a spreadsheet. Okay? All right. So what we're going to do is actually I'm going to use these steps to do example number 6. We want to find the standard deviation of the sample values here. So we just did this. We opened up a new spreadsheet. What we're going to do next is type in the data values into column A. You see here, this is column A. We're going to type in these data values. So here I have a 5. I press down. I have 9. You can also press enter. 6, 3, 7. You don't have to put it in order, right? This is why you're using the calculator. So that's it. That's what we did. We just entered them. Now what we're going to do is right here, step number 3, press menu, number 4 for statistics, number 1 for stat calculations, number 1 for one variable statistics. It's going to ask you how many lists you have. We only have 1, so press OK. And then here we're going to press OK again. In my directions, I say press OK twice, so I'm just pausing here. This is saying that your list is in column A, and it's saying that it's going to put the results of our calculations in column B. So just press OK. Here we go, right? Look at all of the information that this thing just gave us, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the standard deviation, which in this case, it's this number right here. It's little s, and it's 2.23606 and so on. We're going to go to 1 decimal place, and we're going to say that it's 2.2. So the standard deviation here, 2.2. You can use little s or sigma. I don't mind. I don't have a preference. Okay? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing over again. Actually, what I'm going to do for the sake of simplicity is just go ahead and get a new spreadsheet. So we're going to press on, get a new spreadsheet. right there. You see, like my old one was in 1.1 and now we're at 1.2. All right, so we're gonna put in these values right here, 2.3, 4.7. I'm going to pause the video while I enter these, and I will see you in just a moment. You two go ahead and pause the video and enter your values, and we'll get back. All right, here we go. I have my values. Okay, so just make sure you have at least the right number of them, right? So I have 6 values here, and if you go down here, I have 6 values there, right? So just make sure for larger data sets as well. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, one variable statistics. That happened rather quickly. Let me do it again. Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, one variable statistics. I have one list. Press OK, and there we go. And my sigma, my standard deviation here, S, is 2.9. So what does that mean? It means if I take a data point, right, on average, it's going to vary from the mean by 2.9 points, okay? All right, now let's talk about the next term here. The next term is variance. And what variance is, all it is it's the square of the standard deviation. That's it. All right. It gives us the same information basically as standard deviation. So here, find the variance of the sample and example number 7. Oh, here I meant example number 6, sorry. Okay, so for part A, the variance is 2.2 squared, right? And we're just going to do that in the home screen. Nothing fancy, right? $4.84. And for part B, the variance is 2.9 squared. $8.41. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much. I will see you in class.